I'm probably going to regret making this public, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to share the exact framework we use at our agency Bluetree to keep our clients showing up at the top of Google while everyone else's traffic is slowly bleeding to death from AI overviews and LLMs. Here's the thing, most people are creating content completely backwards in 2026. The standard play of writing a post, crossing your fingers, and hoping for a high ranking is a complete waste of your budget. I've been building content strategies for B2B companies for nearly a decade, and the single biggest mistake that I see from startups to seven-figure businesses is treating content like it exists in a vacuum. In this video, I'll walk you through the exact process we use at Bluetree to create content today that's ranking really high for our clients and converting really well. We call this strategy the mouse trap and cheese strategy. So stay with me, I'm going to break it down in full. And by the end of this video, you'll have the exact blueprint and our exact process, our SOP to recreate this exactly for your own brand, to implement it today and see if it works. So if you like copying our SOPs and implementing our exact tactics, hit subscribe because we publish a lot of this stuff on this channel. Sound good? Let's get to it. So first, let's talk about what's actually happening behind the scenes in the Google algorithm right now.
Okay, Google.
Google's AI overviews have fundamentally changed the way that users are interacting with the search results, effectively swallowing up all those click-throughs that we used to take for granted. When ChatGPT or Perplexity or Gemini can answer a simple query in less than a second, your beautiful how-to guide that you spend hours or days or weeks creating basically gets lost immediately. To make matters worse, your competitors, and maybe you, are using LLMs to basically create a high volume of this AI-generated content to essentially flood the search results with high-volume AI garbage. So if your plan is just to hit generate on an AI prompt, no matter how good your prompt is, and hope for a miracle, you're setting yourself up to be drowned out by the noise of all this other high-volume content. So what are the brands doing that are actually standing out and winning in this new environment? Well, they recognize that the nature of truth and the nature of ranking has shifted. The top 1% of brands who are actually winning in this environment understand that something that most people miss. And that is that AI is a high-powered tool, gives you a lot of leverage, but it's not a replacement for good SEO and content strategy.
True, I can't be replaced.
Let's take a look at what an actual strategy, a good strategy, looks like. Phase 1, the mousetrap. Our internal rule at Bluetree is simple. We do not write a single word of content or touch a keyword tool until the sales pages are bulletproof. Those could also be the service pages. This is called the mousetrap. You can have the highest quality cheese, the blog posts and the guides, but that cheese is completely useless if you haven't built a trap to lead people into. We see this everywhere. Companies spend thousands of dollars on traffic just to send users to a service page that reads like a simple Wikipedia entry. These pages basically explain what a company does, but they fail to address why a buyer should care. They ignore common objections and they leave the next steps completely vague. So before anything else, we audit the page using a simple AI prompt. You paste in your service page copy and ask, review this page as a skeptical buyer. List out every unanswered question, every objection, and every missing conversion trigger that would prevent the user from converting in extreme detail. Now, the answer here gives us a concrete roadmap for conversion rate optimization. Once the mousetrap is set, then and only then do we start to optimize with bringing in more traffic. And if you want to bring traffic to your website, guys, the first step is to let us do a free audit. We'll deliver a full report on your biggest opportunities and biggest mistakes, why you're missing out on certain traffic opportunities. You can find a link in the description below, so click that right now to sign up for a free audit by our experts at Bluetree. Okay, let's get back into it. Phase 2 is the AI knowledge base. Now that the foundation is solid, let's get into the actual machinery of content production. Most people open ChatGPT, type, write me a blog post about XYZ topic, and wonder why the output sounds like it was written by nobody for nobody. So to fix this, you have to ground the reality of whatever AI and whatever prompt you're using in the brand that you're writing for. And we do this at Bluetree using what's called ChatGPT projects. But you can use any LLM, pretty much all the main ones have what's called a persistent knowledge base. But we use ChatGPT projects. They're really great for organizing these more holistic contexts of a brand. Before we even write a single word, we upload our brand positioning doc, our client testimonials and case study data, our sales calls transcripts, the actual language that our buyers are using on sales calls. and our unique methodology in any original research, and also our ICP, our ideal customer profile. All these things we upload into ChatGPT projects to give the LM a very clear picture of what the brand is and what we're trying to accomplish with this prompt. Now, when we prompt the AI, it's not just writing generic content, it's writing our content or the brand's content. It knows the brand's tone, it knows all the proof points, it knows the trigger points, and it knows the differentiation of the brand versus its competitors. So investing just like 30 minutes into doing this can save you dozens of hours in the back end. I mean, we used to spend so much time trying to provide context on a prompt by prompt basis. When you basically load everything about the brand into the LLM, into say ChatGPT projects, it really understands from a very high level what you're trying to accomplish with a piece of content. And more importantly, probably the most important thing here is that it prevents the LLM from making generic claims or hallucinating.
Stop it, man, you're hallucinating.
Particularly if the brand of the client is in a market that's skeptical of certain claims, or, even worse, they're on a very sensitive or charged topic where saying something wrong or even false could really get you into hot water. So try this out. Definitely let us know in the comments below how this is working for you, because this is a really effective strategy for us at Bluetree. Phase 3. This is about keyword selection and the purple cow. Let me be straight with you guys about keyword research in 2026. It's always been the case that you didn't want to go after stuff that was too competitive if you were at a particular stage of growth. If your site was a certain strength and your business is pretty new, going after the 800-pound gorilla in the room was just a complete waste of time and money. So you have to start with certain keywords and build momentum. That is as true as it was 10 years ago in keyword research. The difference is now you have to be more selective with thinking about who the main competitor is at the end of the day, and that is the AI. So if you see something that has good search volume, and based on your analysis of the search results, it may not be that competitive from other sites, but is there the big robot competitor at the end of the day? Is the AI overview, the other LLMs? They're going to steal that search volume, because even if they're not showing up for it right now, it's something so easy for them to crawl and doesn't take much expertise that they could easily cannibalize the search results anyway. So you got to be thinking a little bit more nuanced about how competition works. What I actually look for are 3 things: relevance, intent, and value. Relevance, of course, asks if a particular keyword actually maps back to a product or a service that we or one of our clients provide. Intent determines if the user is looking to learn, compare options, or if they have their credit card in their hand ready to buy. That's a high buyer's intent. Value is, of course, typically measured by cost per click, or CPC, and a high CPC means that advertisers are paying for this traffic because they know it actually converts. Find the overlap of those 3, especially when your intent is commercial and you've got your keyword target. And if you want to do another deeper dive into how to do really good keyword research in 2026, take a look at our other video here where we cover that in more detail. Now, here's the second part of this phase 3, that most people completely skip: the purple cow. Every AI tool, every major AI tool on the planet is essentially trained on the same internet. So if your content is just a summary of what's already on page 1, you're redundant. The AI has already summarized it, and Google's algorithm is smart enough to know that you aren't adding anything new to the conversation. The only way to genuinely stand out in 2026 is to add something that AI cannot: your own data, your own experience, your own opinions, your own knowledge to the conversation. At Bluetree, we anchor our best performing content to show original research. These are studies that we run on our own link building campaigns, data from our client results, case studies, analysis that we've done that nobody else has published. That's what gets cited in AI, and that's what gets linked to, and that's what the AI overviews ultimately pull from. If you're not doing this yet, this can sound like a daunting task, but just start small. Even sharing a specific failure, what you tried, what went wrong, what you learned, is content that AI cannot replicate. That's primary real world data. Also, guys, if this level of strategy is clicking for you, make sure to hit subscribe. We're dropping these weekly breakdowns along with daily shorts to keep you updated on the evolving search landscape and how it's shifting with AI. Phase 4, intelligent drafting. All right, now we actually write the dang thing. So here's our process in a nutshell. We start by using the thinking versions of the latest models. Like today, it's like Claude Opus 4.6, Gemini Thinking, if you have Gemini Ultra, even better, Perplexity Thinking, ChatGPT Deep Research. We use the thinking models to come up with the highest quality outline for the article. We're not actually writing the thing. We first want to get the actual structure. We want to architect the structure and the scaffolding of the article to be as detailed and as thorough as possible. And the way to do that is to use the long thinking versions of the LLMs. So what does this look like? Specifically, we prompt the AI to analyze the top 10 ranking results for our particular keyword and related keywords. We want to identify the NLP entities.
I'll take over from here.
So it's the job of us humans to, when we go through and edit the actual output, we want to verify every claim, replace any generic examples with a real one from our own experience or our client's experience. Break up any section that sounds like a textbook and try to add personality, add humor, add real mentions of real people or real quotes. And we made damn sure that the first 200 words answer the question directly. Why? Because that's the section, that starting section, that typically wins the AI overview in Google. So that for those first 200 words are very, very important. And one thing, guys, I want to be really clear about here is AI first drafts are just a starting point, not the finish line. The human edit is where the real value is. Of course, that's kind of how it always has been in Google. You really want to put thought and effort and energy and critical thinking into your content. That's even more true now when the non-human is completely abstracted away with LLMs. If you're publishing AI output without a proper review pass, you're actively hurting your brand or your client's brand. So it's something you want to avoid. Phase 5, authority and the content ecosystem. Now here's where most people stop. And it's exactly why their content just sits on page 4 or never even ranks to begin with. You can write the best article in the world, but if nobody links to it, it's not going to rank. And this is something that the content first crowd typically gets wrong or gets right for a very short amount of time and then gets very wrong when their site gets egregiously penalized. Links are still the #1 trust signal for Google and for the AI models that scrape the web to decide whose content to cite. So your content strategy needs a distribution layer built into it from day one. Here's how we think about the distribution layer at Bluetree. Every pillar piece of content, your main guide, your original research, proprietary data, your cornerstone asset needs to be surrounded by a cluster of supporting articles that all link back to it. This builds topical authority in Google's eyes and gives your internal link structure a clear hierarchy. Then you need external authority. Guest posts on relevant industry websites, digital PR to get your research cited, strategic partnerships where you and a complementary brand co-create something worth linking to. None of this happens by accident. It has to be planned before the content goes live. Now, before we wrap this up and summarize everything we've talked about in this guide, there's one thing I want to share, which no one seems to mention because I don't think anyone's really caught on to it yet. In 2026, Google's AI is quietly scoring your brand's trustworthiness across the entire web, not just your site, your LinkedIn, your YouTube, your Trustpilot reviews, your mentions on other sites. So here's a quick audit you can do right now to check. Go to ChatGPT or Perplexity, search for your brand, then search for the problems your service solves. Are you showing up? Are you being cited? If not, that's a signal that your brand doesn't yet have enough presence for the AI models to trust you as a reliable source. Solving this, getting cited, requires relentless cross-platform consistency. You have to make sure that your positioning, your messaging, and your proof points are saying the same thing everywhere on the internet. And this isn't about gaming the algorithm. It's about being genuinely present and credible across the places your buyers are actually spending time on the web. So to wrap this up, let's recap those 7 steps that we're using to dominate content marketing in 2026. First, fix your sales and service pages so that your traffic actually has a place to convert. Second, ground your AI with your actual brand before you even write anything, using ChatGPT projects, for example. Third, stop chasing vanity metrics and actually go for high intent, high value keywords. Fourth, always include unique data or unique insights that AI cannot replicate. Fifth, use AI to create the skeleton, but use humans to create the soul of the content and put that final touch before you hit publish. 6, build a content ecosystem and system with internal clusters and external links. And finally, audit your brand presence to make sure that you're showing up consistently everywhere on the web. And again, guys, if you want to go deeper on any of this stuff, especially on the link building and the authority side, make sure you're subscribed as we break down these topics every single week. And if you'd like help with this stuff, always find us at bluetree.digital. We can audit your site for free and help you out with building content and authority. See you in the next video.